I love a challenge, so when I ran across these old, odd-shaped negatives, I just had to figure out how to see them and then digitize them. So this video will focus on digitizing your old medium format negatives. This is what they look like, and I found 4 different size negatives in one box of my grandfather's negatives. 2.5 by 4 1/4, 2 1/4 by 3 1/2, 2 1/4 by 2 1/4, and a strip of 4 photos, each frame measuring about 1 3/4 by 1 1/4 inches. We'll be using our FlipPal scanner and Corel Paint Shop software. Scan them on their FlipPal just as you would a photograph. Note I'm not wearing any white gloves, which I would recommend. I chose 1 or 2 examples of each size to show you, but I have already archived them as cleanly as possible and didn't want to waste your time in making this video. Gloves will slow you down, but it's worth it to get a clean photo from your negatives. Medium format film was used by consumers from 1895 to the 1960s in various sizes. So if you run across any of these, the photos are truly precious. I found one of my grandmother in her wedding dress from 1928, but it was washed out by the years and very scratched up. It may have been a little overexposed when it was taken too, which makes it next to impossible to get a clear picture now. But the picture of my grandfather holding my mother as a new baby is a treasure for me. That'd be about 1929. I also tried using my Wolverine for the strip since the actual frames were smaller, but the largest size negative it accommodates is 35mm. That cuts off a portion of the picture from each side. Of course, it will not hold the larger negatives at all, but the FlipPal works great. Now I've scanned each example and loaded them onto my computer. Note that I've tried many softwares and I've taken many classes in Adobe products, including Photoshop, but I've found Corel Paint Shop Pro does most of what I want to do and at a fraction of the cost. Right now you can get Paint Shop Pro X6 for a one-time cost of $59.99. I encourage you to go to our treasuredarchives.com website and click on the links page to pick that software up. Now as we open up our Paint Shop Pro, we see 3 tabs at the top: Adjust, Manage, Adjust, and Edit. Today we're just going to look at Edit, but I encourage you to look at the other tabs and explore those as you have time. You'll notice that it's all set up very similar to Photoshop if you're at all familiar with Photoshop, with your functions on the left and your layers on the right. Let's open up one of our scanned negatives. We go to Image and Negative Image. It's that simple. Now this is a little washed out, so let's play with the adjustments a little bit. So we're going to go to Adjust and Brightness and Contrast, and then look right under that and you see Fill Light and Clarity. And we're going to look at the Fill Light. Move up our Fill Light a little bit and really move up our Clarity so the edges are stronger. Then go back to Brightness and Contrast. Take out some of that brightness and then bring up the contrast. And now you can see a little bit more shadows and the dark hair, and he's looking down at the baby. You can actually see the baby's eyes. Things aren't as washed out as they were. Then we'll save this. I probably would have cropped it and things like that, but let's save it for now, and I can always go back and do more to it and add more to the captions and so forth. And then we'll close this down. Like I say, I'd probably crop it a little bit more. And we'll open another, go into the next size, and again open, go to Image, Negative Image, And we can go back. I can almost not see that. Let's look at that brightness and control again. Take down our brightness. Could move that out of the way, couldn't I? And bring up our contrast. Okay, you can at least see them. But it's still a very small picture, so let's make that a little bit bigger. And hey, why don't we crop it? That makes sense. And that's probably better. Now we can make it bigger. And then we could always go back and do more to it. Now you can see some of those black spots that age has really wreaked havoc with these old negatives. And then we can go back and save. And that's Amelia. And Peter. How did they spell that, Peter? Okay. And then we can look at the next one. This is our larger size. Oh, the last function we did was crop, so we're going to start and crop this time. Might as well start there. And then we'll go up to adjust, image and negative image. And then let's get to adjust, play with the brightness, and it takes on whatever we put last time. So we're going to change things just a touch here. Try to see that as best we can. Just kind of play with that brightness a little bit. Looks like the baby was the part that was overexposed. Let's look a little closer. And that's a picture from 1950, maybe early 50, no, 1950, late 1950. And I know that because that's Mike, my older brother. And my mom and dad in the background. How fun. And now let's look at that strip that we had. And first, let's go to image and negative image. And then let's go up to rotate. Let's rotate it sideways so we can see it better. And then let's go over and crop these, because we've got 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and notice the 2 in the middle are kind of on top of each other. So we're going to be careful here and crop this. But if you look at that, the cropping choice here, after I've set it up just the right size, let's go for that first one. One of the choices, instead of that green arrow that we clicked last time, we're going to save that as its own image, as a separate image. And notice that we've got now 2 things open, that one and another one. And we'll go to the next one and save that as its own image. First adjust it just right, as best we can. And see, we've added another one that's open on our page. And then we can adjust one more. I think these 2 are a little exposed on top of each other, but we'll separate separate that image. And then last one, the puppy. And now we've got all 4 of them open on the page, and we can work with each one of those individually. Like we can blow each one up and work on them each one at a time. And we have progressed in time, so this is around 1951-52. And we'll name each image separately and save them. And then we can close down each one. I can always go back and play with the colors and the contrast and so forth with each image now that I have them separated. But you get the idea. Don't forget to go back to your pictures and right click and click on Properties, go to Details, and you can put a new title to your picture. And anything that you put in here goes with the digital picture forever. So as it gets passed along, these details will go with it. So you can put in who's in it, you can give it a new name, things like that, and then go down to captions or notes, and then you can put more in it. And I encourage you to do so, maybe the year that it was taken, that kind of thing, because these scans, this image is going to show up as having just been scanned today. And then you can file it the way you need to file it so you can find it and use it in your video for family history. And that's it. Thanks for watching.